I became captivated by a blonde girl named Chloe on TikTok. I found myself watching her live streams daily for the past month. She didn't do much other than lie in bed holding her phone, responding to mostly male messages. Though I thought it was a bit pathetic, Chloe was incredibly attractive and way out of my league. However, she would actually respond to my messages while live. Sometimes there would be 150 viewers, but other times only 8, all of whom were mostly men. Tonight, it's a slow night for her, with only 8 viewers, though it's 2 a.m. and most people are asleep. By 2:15 a.m., her viewer count dropped to an all-time low of just 4, but I didn't mind. I was the only one getting her attention. I'd always assumed she was alone in her room while streaming, but I overheard something deeply disturbing that wasn't meant for the viewers to hear. A male voice whispered, "Do something." Chloe looked visibly scared after hearing the voice and said, "Come on, guys. Come back. What can I do to make you stay?" "What do you mean?" I messaged her. "Oh, I just want everyone to have fun and keep watching me," she replied. She couldn't increase her viewers at this time, so she said, "Good night, everyone," and ended the stream. Disappointed, I decided to browse TikTok to see if any other girls were streaming live. I found another attractive blonde named Livy and joined her stream. Like Chloe, her viewer count was low because of the late hour. I typed, "Hi Livy, how are you tonight?" "I'm fine, just hanging out," she replied. "That's cool. How old are you?" "I'm 20, Livy responded. Then I heard a faint male voice say, "Show more of your chest." Livy's face quickly went from relaxed to uncomfortable. The voice sounded eerily similar to the one I'd heard during Chloe's stream. Livy adjusted her dress, revealing more of her chest but not exposing her nipples. This attracted more viewers, and within a minute, her viewer count surged. Livy seemed uncomfortable exposing herself like that. As I glanced at the room Livy was streaming from, I noticed that when she pointed the camera toward the ceiling, it had the same ceiling fan and unusual octagonal shape as Chloe's room. What were the chances of 2 people having the same exact ceiling fan and layout? I kept watching Livy's stream, observing more of her room. Then I said out loud, "What the hell?" When I saw that Livy had the same dresser and closet in the same spots as Chloe's. "This is the same room as Chloe's," I exclaimed. At 31, I was probably the only viewer who cared enough to notice the similarities. I used to think these women were just doing these live sessions for fun and extra cash. But now I thought something more sinister was at play. Why would Chloe leave her room so another girl could pretend it was hers for a live stream? The only explanation was that these girls were working in shifts, most likely being forced to do these streams. What bothered me even more was when male viewers would joke in Chloe's streams. "I'll pay you if I can come over and hang out with you?" And Chloe would respond, "Send me a private message." At first, I thought it was just a joke, but now I suspected these girls might be unwillingly prostituting themselves. So, I typed the same line into Livy's stream. "I'll pay you if I can come over and hang out with you?" Livy responded just like Chloe, "Send me a private message." I sent a private message, and she replied, "Where do you live?" "I'm in Pennsylvania," I said. "Oh, I'll be in Maryland in 2 weeks," Livy answered. "That's not far from Pennsylvania. Can I see you if I drive to Maryland?" "Sure, if the price is right, OL," she replied. "How about $200? I'll be too busy when I visit Maryland to see you," she typed. "How about $500? I think I can find the time to see you, OL." "Okay. How do I send you the money?" "Send the $500 to this PayPal account, and I'll send you the address and time for when we can meet." I thought this was very odd, and I doubted it was really Livy I was messaging. It seemed more likely that it was the same guy I had heard in the background. $500 was a lot, but also something most young men could come up with. The obvious next step was to wait for Chloe's stream the next day and ask her the same question. Can I come see you? The next day, after work, I waited for Chloe to go live. I logged into TikTok with a dummy account and waited for her to appear. Eventually, she did, and I typed, "I'll pay you if I can come over and hang out with you?" She responded, "Send me a private message." I went through the same back and forth, and Chloe, like Livy, told me she would be in Maryland in 2 weeks, and I needed to pay her $500 to get an address and time. I now had a sinking feeling that these young women were somehow being trafficked. I sent $500 to both Chloe's and Livy's PayPal accounts and, unsurprisingly, got the same comfort in hotel address in Glen Burnie, Maryland, but with different rooms and times. Determined to uncover how many women were being exploited on TikTok, I continued messaging, "I'll pay you if I can come over and hang out with you?" to different TikTok accounts I created. Incredibly, 5 other girls responded, saying they would be in Maryland in 2 weeks. I didn't feel the need to spend more money to get their addresses and times. I waited the 2 weeks, then drove to Maryland and parked in the hotel lot, where I could see both Chloe's and Livy's rooms. I was 5 hours early for my meeting with Livy. As I sat in the parking lot, I witnessed something appalling. A group of younger men kept pulling into the lot and knocking on predetermined hotel doors, including Chloe's and Livy's. It was reminiscent of watching people enter a Blockbuster or a strip club, an endless stream of men going in and out. I figured there had to be at least 30 rooms being used, and the hotel had been chosen for its large parking lot, which allowed for someone to watch the flow of traffic. I noticed 3 cars parked where the drivers were clearly keeping an eye on the activity in the parking lot. These men looked shady, definitely not law enforcement. Finally, my turn came to visit Livy's room. I was nervous but determined to see what was really going on. When Livy answered the door, I could immediately tell she was high on something, likely crack or ecstasy. She didn't behave like she did on TikTok. Within 5 minutes, she handed me a condom, which nearly made me sick to my stomach. Livy was so out of it that I couldn't even hold a conversation with her. It was clear she was brainwashed not to ask for help. I'd seen enough and handed the condom back, leaving the room and returning to my car. I felt an overwhelming sense of disgust. I couldn't even bring myself to visit Chloe during my scheduled time. Instead, I decided to stay in the parking lot overnight to see what would happen in the morning. Around 8 a.m., a large Mart's passenger bus pulled into the lot, waking me from my sleep. By 8:15 a.m., each TikTok girl was being pushed out of her room by an unknown man. At 9 a.m., about 50 girls boarded the bus, which nearly made me throw up. I followed the bus, staying far behind so I wouldn't be noticed. After almost 20 hours of driving, the bus stopped in a small town in Wyoming called Rock Springs, and the girls were taken into a compound that resembled the one in Waco, Texas. I didn't go into the compound, but noted the coordinates and headed back to town. I contacted the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Agent Sipkowitz took my information and seemed shocked. She assured me they would contact me if they needed anything more. The next day, Chloe and Livy didn't log into their streams. I Googled Rock Springs and found a news story about a raid uncovering a potential human trafficking operation. The photo of the compound in Rock Springs matched the one I had seen.